ओ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्म पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। शास्त्रस्य गुरुवाक्यस्य सत्यबुद्धि अवधारणा श्रद्धा। It is said विश्वास और श्रद्धा दोनों ही चाहिए, both are necessary. Vishwasa in English it is trust, and Shraddha is faith. Trust in the known, faith in the unknown. When you have your own, colleague, boss, wife, parents, a belief that what they are doing to you is beneficial to you, and what they say is useful to you, and what they tell you to do or what they guide you is something of great importance to you, then you develop trust. Anybody who says something and a promise, and that such a person keeps that promise, then you develop trust. It's called Vishwas. As much as when we breathe in and breathe out, and after breathing out, you do not suddenly think that, oh, I may not be able to breathe in again. ऐसा नहीं होता है. Now, tomorrow there will be air or not. Tomorrow the sun will rise or not. So, based upon our experience and based upon our own observation, we believe in certain things which are sure to be there, whether it is a relationship with another person or with respect to the world and things. It's called Vishwas. The very word Vishwasa. Like you have faith, the trust in your own breathing, even though you're not paying attention to it. Body is doing it, right? So when you eat the food, whether it will digest or not, Vishwas, it will get digested. You put the money in the bag, will the money will keep it, or they keep the money, or they will eat up? Vishwas. That's called trust. That's why when you have a trust also. Create a trust. ABC, trust. Whereas Shraddha is about the unknown. What is not our present experience, what is not visible, what is not known, what is that which is said to be there but is not available for our immediate comprehension, what is not available even our logical conclusion, but only that which you come to have faith in because you have faith in the person who is explaining that to you, whether it's a guru or a shastra. And what is most crucial here is, it is not just listening to a teacher or the shastra, but finding out the truth of it. Satya Buddhi Avatarana. First one is, what the guru is saying, what the shastra says is Satyam. Iti first. Because it is said in Kathopanishad, Asti iti eva upalabdhavyaha. Asti iti eva upalabdhavyaha. Meaning, Brahman asti iti upalabdhavyaha. The belief that Brahman is, only when the person has got the belief or complete understanding that the Brahman is, only such a person get it. So, Satyena Panta Vitado Devayana, it is said again. In Mandakopanishad, Devayana means the path towards God, Satyena Vitataha. By the truth alone, it is laid. See, if I do not have the faith in the existence of the reality, there is no volition, there is no attempt, there is no prayasna. And since that is the Brahma Tattvam or the highest reality is not something which is not known to me right now, it is not easily comprehensible by me through Pratyaksha Pramana or Anumana Pramana. Where do I begin the journey then? Begin the journey in believing in the teacher and what he says is true. Even science, if you are learning any science or anything, you must believe in the person who teaches it. So first step is to have a Satya Buddhi. What is Satya Buddhi? That is Guru Vakye, Shastra Vakye, Satya Buddhi. And then comes the next point, Satyam iti Buddhi, that it is what is said by Guru or the scripture is true, that alone is not sufficient. Uska satyatva ki janna hi hoga. Uska prayatna karna hi hoga. Who is Shraddha? Shraddha is not in merely believing the words of the teacher and the Shastra as true, but make sure that the truth of it is known to you. इसको प्रयत्न करना चाहिए. So I always say it is a journey. Faith is a journey from belief to truth. You believe, no doubt, but if you don't make any attempt to realize what is understood by you into your own experience, if you don't do the attempt to experience it, then will remain only as a vicarious paroksha jnana. Why are you believing in God? Because he said so and she said so. I believe in this person, I believe in that person, he or she said there is God, there is reality, therefore I believe it. But you don't stop there. You have to find out the truth of it in your own life. Then it will no more be paroksha jnanam, it become aparoksha jnanam. It will become immediate knowledge. If you tell a child that the fire is hot, don't touch it. First time the child is told the fire is hot, do you think the child will, even though he has great respect for you, believes in the God, father and mother, but would he not at some point of time, he has been telling me it is hot. What is that hot? What do you mean by fire is hot? Put your hand there. Now there is no more confirmation necessary. You will come back quietly to that father and say, you are right. Right? Because I experienced it. Right? In the same way, Guru will be very happy only when the student comes with a smile, I know it. In Kenopanishad also, the student says, I know it. Janami aham. But the teacher does not immediately believe him. He said, whatever you know, intellectually is only little. Dabrameva vimohandunantam vetta brahmana rupam. Anyway, in the subject matter of Brahman, there is no egoistic assertion of I know it, because it cannot be known as an object. So if the ego asserts that I know it, then it is not complete. Anyway, here, sadbihi katita, sa shraddha, sadbihi sadpurushaihi, katita is spoken. That is called shraddha yaya, by which vastu upalabhyate. Vastu atman, atma or moksha. Moksha upalabhyate. What that is called shraddha, by which you obtain the liberation. Vastu upalabhyate sadbihi katita. Satya buddhi avatarana. Satyam avadita artha bodhakam iti buddhya. अवधारणा दृढ़ विश्वास है. See, that विश्वास है, but दृढ़ विश्वास है. उसका दृढ़ता होना चाहिए. Unquestionable, uninfallible, undoubted trust in that. एतादृश श्रद्धावतः एव समाधानं सम्यक् सिद्ध्यति इति तदनन्तरं समाधानं निरूपयति सम्यक् इति. Now, among the Shat, what you call sampattis, Shama, Dama, Uparadi, Tidiksha, Shraddha, our last one is Samadhan. Usually the word Samadhan is used colloquially in many languages as agreement. Or if there is a conflict, the conflict has ended in absence of conflict. Uska Samadhan ho gaya, Shanti ho gaya. Right? So that is, there is no more misunderstanding, Samadhan. But that is not the meaning here. What is in Samyak Samyak Stapanam? Sorry, Samyak. There is a printing mistake somewhere. Let us look at here. 20. No, that's what I want to see. I don't think the version is correct. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya. Here it is written Samyak Stapanam Buddhehe Shuddhe Brahmani Sarvata. Whereas in Gurudev's version, Sarvada Stapanam Buddhe Shuddhe Brahmani Sarvada. Right? Okay, we'll go by Gurudev's. Sarvada Stapanam Buddhe
Sarvada sthapanam buddhe
Shuddhe Brahmani Sarvatha
Shuddhe brahmani sarvata
Tatsamadhanamityuktam
Tatsamadhanamityuktam
Natu Chittasya Lalanam
Chittasya lalanam
Sarvada Stapanam Buddhe Shuddhe Brahmani Sarvatha Tatsamadhanamityuktam Natu Chittasya Lalanam. Sarvada, Sarvatha. You see, the both are used here. Sarvada means always. Sada. Sada ityartha. Nirantaram. Sada. Sarvada. Aharnisham. Sarvatha means sarva prakarena. In various, in all, not one is always, ALWAYS, Sarvada. Sarvatha is ALL space, ways. All ways, in all methods, in all manners. So always, always, Sarvada, Sarvata, Buddhehe Stapanam. Intellect abidance. In what? Shuddhe Brahmani. In the pure Brahman, pure consciousness. That's Samadhana. That is what we call Samadhana. Iti Yuktam. Natu Chittasya Lalanam. Not any kind of oscillations. Now, let us look at this carefully. Yadyapi swalakshe niyata avastha rupa shama apekshaya bedaha na lakshate idrishe samadhani tadapi muhurmuhu dosha drishtya vishayebhya virajya swalakshe niyata avastha ityanena yato yato nischare manaschanchala mastiram tadastato niyam etad atmanyeva vasham nayet iti Sri Gidokta ritya shama avasthayam prayatna vishesha apekshate sankalpa vikalpatmasya manaha visidhikarane. We have seen the first among the six-fold sampattis, wealth, shama. What is the definition of shama? Control of the mind, but it is, what is the definition according to Veda? Here. Huh? What is the definition here? Shama. Here, various verse number 22. Virajya Vishaya Vratat Dosha Drishtya Muhurmuhu Swalakshe Niyata Avastha Manasa Shama Uchati. Shama is Vishaya Vratat Virajya, from the chaotic engagement with the, having withdrawn from the engagement with the objects of the world by looking at the dosha, looking at the imperfection or the negativities of such engagement, negative aspect of such engagement. Then having withdrawn that mind from all that, what you should do? Swalakshe, by in that one goal, the final goal, niyata avastha, effortful abidance of manas. Manasaha niyata avastha shama uchati. All right, that is what is given. Even in Gita it is said, whenever the mind moves away from self, yato yato nischarati manaha chanchalam astiram, because nature of the mind is chanchal. So it will not stay in one place, it will keep going from one to another, one to another, one. If you watch only, you will realize how it quickly able to relate things. You look at one thing, but the mind goes somewhere else. Some people say, no, Swamiji, I chant Vishnu Sahasranam while cooking. You're cooking the Bhagavan then. On the one hand, you go on chanting, on the other hand, you are going to cooking. Either the cooking will be correct, nor the chanting will be correct. Parallel processing. In a way, it is good for keeping the mind in one place. That may be true. But that is not shama. Shama is whenever the mind moves away from the subject matter. Swalakshe niyata avastha manasaha. And that is why Bhagavan Krishna said in Gita, whenever the mind moves away from abiding in the self, bring it back again and again. Yata yato nischarati manaschanchalam astiram tatastato niyametad atmaneva pasham. Idi Gitokta ritya shama avastayam prayatna visheshah apekshate. Usme prayatna hai, meaning it needs effort. A person puts effort to bring the attention again and again. All right. Sankalpa vikalpatmakasya manasah sthirikarane. To keep the mind in one place, which is always of the nature of fickleness. Sankalpa vikalpa. Atayeva atra adyavasaya atmikaya buddhehe shuddhe brahmani samyak avasthanam sarvada iti anena sankalpa vikalpa vinirmuktatvam antakaranasya prakrite katitam bhavati. Here it is not manas, but carefully look at it, it is buddhi. That is the difference between shama and samadha. Though the nature is the same thing, sarvada buddhehe sthapanam. There in shama it is manasaha niyata avastha. What is the nature of the mind? Fickleness, sankalpa vikalpa. But buddhi is not sankalpa vikalpa. Buddhi is what is of the nature of what? Adyavasaya. Adyavasaya means determination. It is the ability to determine because of its ability to discriminate. What is right and what is not right, what is good, what is bad, having very well discriminated, differentiated, and having got a determination, the buddhi is stronger than the mind. Gurudev always would say, yeah, it should be the stronger one which should control the weaker one, not the other way around. If the weak one is able to overpower the strong, you lost it. Is it not true? Some people say, Swamiji, I don't know, my hand suddenly hits me. Now, this will look funny to you, right? How can your own hand will hit you without you, allowing it? So this looks funny to you? Yes? My hand suddenly hits me. Okay. Don't talk like that. I do not know. I may probably get angry. It is the same. Without your permission, how will you get angry? If you talk like that, I'll get angry. So that means what? The anger, you have no control. It will come to you. That means mind has taken over. The mind, which is the seat of emotions and feelings, are overpowering you, and for which you are succumbing yourself to. Don't bring that chocolate to me. I don't know. See, you don't bring it to me. You bring it, I cannot help it. That means what? The object has more power than you. Isn't that true? So chocolate, please don't bring it to me. No, because I cannot help it. That means you, Gurudev used to say, you 6.2, 6 feet, 2 inches tall, you is now slave to a 2 inches chocolate. Is it? Are you not ashamed? So, buddhi, when you say, it is of the nature of adyavasayatmika, nischayatmika. So, in bringing the mind to control, you need effort. In bringing the intellect to the self, you need attention. That's the difference. Control and attention. The mind needs to be controlled. Buddhi needs to have the concentration and attention. You have to shift the attention. That is why Sankalpa vikalpa nirmuktitvam antakaranasya prakritehe katitam bhavati. Only when the mind has been already been controlled through the proper method of practice of shama, which is dosha drishti, looking at the impure or the negativity of engaging in the world of objects. Having seen this, you have brought the mind to certain amount of quietude. After that, samadhanam takes place by attention now shifted from the world of matter to the self. Therefore, tada eva manashabdam vihaya, leaving aside the word, the mana, in which is used in Shama, nirnayatmaka vrittimat buddhi shabdaha prayoji. That's why here the word buddhi is used. Though essentially, final point of abiding in the self is the same. Shuddhe Brahmani avasthanam tapanam. There it is what? Manasaha swalakshe sthapanam niyatavastha. So, and therefore here, tatrabi shuddhe brahmani di nirgunam katyate sarva upadi vinirmuktam. The people often ask this question, Swamiji, is it not so difficult to remember or pay attention to the formless God? Is it not easy to think about God with the form? That is why we have the Ishta Devata Prarthana and Puja, etc. Whether Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna, Rama, whatever. That is called Alamana, support. A mind which is moving here and there constantly needs a particular form to hold on to. That is why you need Sagunopasana. Sagunopasana is necessary for the mind to become one-pointed with the idea of Brahman is superimposed on that form of God. And whether it is Shiva or Vishnu, whatever you are worshipping, is none other than representing Brahman. Sagunopasana. Whereas Buddhi here does not require to hold on to Sagunopasana. It has to move to the next one of knowing Brahman through, not through the form, independent of the form. That this form is only a support, but support is not to be dependent on. Gurudev used to say, like a pole vaulter, using the pole for the sake to vault. But having used the pole to some extent, he has to leave the pole. In the same way here, Nirgunam katyate sarvopadi vinirmuktam shama nirupa avasare swalakshe niyata avastha iti anena sagune niyata avasthane api shantatvam manasaha vaktum shakyam. Shama idi sadhanam katyate samadhanam tasya phalam. निर्गुण उपासना सगुण उपासना के फल होता है. Sagunopasana or worship of the Lord with the form will result in ability to let go the form and reach to the what the form indicates. Gurudev would say, if you do not have the ideal, you will become only idol worshipper. Idol stands for some ideal, right? Otherwise, you will become idol worshipper. You will hold on to that form only. The form is representing something else. So he will say, okay, I am showing you a BMI chart with the stick. Don't stick to the stick. Look at what the stick is indicating. If you are looking at the stick, you are not understanding what I'm saying. Similarly, the form is representing the formless Brahman. And if you hold on to the form and do not leave it, then you are stuck with that. So here, that is why he says, The Shama is the sadhana, Samadhana is the phalam. That is beautiful. Shama iti sadhanam katyate, samadhanam tasya phalam, tasyaiva paripakaha iti avat. Mature. Paripaka means maturity, the ripened result. Loke balaka visheshatah rudanti che tadishtam dadva samadate janaha. See, it's interesting. He gives a beautiful example. When a child is crying, sometimes they do not have any reason to cry, but they cry. So what do? Or it may be crying for a chocolate, let us say. So what do? You give the chocolate. Nowadays, children don't want chocolate. iPhone. I'm playing my video and you took it away. You take it for a call. You take it away for making the call. Now the fellow cries. What? I want. You give the chocolate, he will not keep quiet. Keep the chocolate aside. Give me the iPhone. I want to play. So when a child cries, loke balakaha visheshataha rudanti che tadishtam datva samadate janaha. Giving what that fellow needs or desires. Okay. Tadvat manasah yata ishtam vishaya marga samcharanam na samadhanam ityaha. But samadhan aisa nahi hai. That's why the word samadhan used. If somebody is crying for something, okay, give him no, let him just be quiet. Usko samadhan karo. Naisa bolte hain. Usko samadhan karo. What he wants, you just give it to him. But this word samadhana here does not mean merely appeasing something. That's why it's written, Nadu chittasya lalanam. Uska lalan ka artha kya hai? Lalana means fondling, coaxing. You know, when a child is, then you fondle, oh, you know what you want. Lilo, quiet. That is samadhan. But here, it is not to be understood like that. It is not according to what the buddhi demands, the mind demands. Give that thing, therefore it will become a... That is not the meaning here. That's why Bhagavan Shankaracharya very clearly, Natu chittasya lalanam. Lalana means fondling, appeasing, giving what that one wants. That is not the way to quieten the mind. So, tadvat manasaha yadasham, okay. Yadva shubha margabhyam vahanti vasana charit paurushena prayatnena yojaniya shubhe pati. The mind by its nature will flow towards the desirable field of activities only. Shubha ashubhabhyam margabhyam. If there are paths, one is of the nature of good, another is a path of pleasure. You know that prayers and shreyas. So shreyas the path of good and prayers being the path of pleasure. The nadi, the river called the mind flows and vahanti vasana sarit. Vasanas will always go to what is immediate pleasure. That is the nature of vasana. Paurushena prayatnena yojaniya. But what will make that very flow move towards the shreyas? By prayatna. Is it not? Paurusha prayatnena yojaniya shubhe prati. Ashubeshu samabhishtam subeshu eva avatarayet. That which is naturally going towards the ashubha, you must direct it towards the shubha. Swamana purushartena balena valinambara ashubha charitam yadi shubham tasmat apitarat jantoho chittam to shishuvat tasmat chalayed balat samada santvanena ashu na dragiti shanehi. Even though in Gita, shane ruparamet buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma samstamma nakrutva nakinchita pichintayet. Slowly bring your attention back to the self. Here he says, not slowly, quickly make it. Because if you allow and appease the mind, it will become a habit. Quickly you should be. Paurushena prayatnena lalayet chitta balagam idi vasishtaritya chalanam lananam cha samadhi sadhanatvena purvam apekshade. That bringing the mind to the self by slowly, that's the method of slow coaxing, that is called shama. But samadhana aisa nahi hai. Natu falibhuta samadhana avasthayam. Not in this context. Tad abhyasam vinapi samadhi sampadana kale krita prayatnena eva kshina bahya vasanasya manasah sagunat prachavana matrasya nirgune stapayidum apekshitatvat iti. So it is necessary for finally from moving the mind from the saguna nature of Brahman to the nirguna nature of Brahman, for which the mind has to, the buddhi has to engage in dissuading the mind in merely holding on to the formful worship and formful or the coaxing the mind and etc. All that is done. Those are necessary, no doubt, but finally one should move to the final result of such an effort called samadhi. So shama to samadhi is a maturity that a seeker should progress into, and that is why it is said edadrisha sadhana gana manditasya eva mumukshutvam sambhavati na anyasya iti idanim mumukshutvam ahankarat iti. Only when a person has got this sixfold wealth, shama, dhamma, uparati, tidiksha, shraddha, samadhan, such a person alone really becomes a mumukshu. Mumukshutvam sambhavati sadhanagana manditasya eva. One who has accumulated these beautiful virtues, such a person alone can really become seeker of liberation, otherwise not. So that is why in the next verse number 27, we read, Ahankaradi dehantan bandhana jnana kalpitan swaswarupavad bodhena moktumicha mumukshuta. Ahankaradi dehantan bandhana jnana kalpitan swaswarupava bodhena moktumicha mumukshuta. Simple understanding is moktumicha mumukshuta. That is the definition. Mokshasya ichcha, the desire to become free, is called mumukshuta. Desiderative. What is or from what one should become free? Bandhan ajnana kalpitan. That very bondage which is created by ignorance. Bandhan, all the various limitations. Now, always it is said kalpitan, kalpitan, kalpitan. Kalpitan word means one meaning is imagined. Another meaning is conjured up, made up. So, you understand that bandhanam or the bondage is kalpana only. It is of the nature of self-created illusory idea of bondage. Because it is said in various places that if there is a real bondage, you can never get out of it. If the bondage is real, then there is no real freedom. It is like this. If we say that I want to become released from the world of plurality, where do you go? I want to be free from this world of plurality. I'm going to Himalayas. That is not a world. Is the world or not? Is part of the world or somewhere else? Then where are you going? Wherever you go, if the world is real, if the things that you are considering as the cause of bondage is real, wherever you go, it will come. That which is there as real, you can never get rid of it. If a bandhanam is a truth, real, then that bondage, release from bondage is only a mere notion. It is not going to be a reality. Bondage should be understood as imagined only. Kalpitan, that is just Ajnana Kalpitan. Ajnana Kalpitan bandhan. How do you go? How do you move from that Ajnana Kalpitan? Swaswarupa Avabodhika. By the knowledge of oneself alone, that bondage will go. That is Bhagavan Shankaracharya said in Atma Bodha also. Darkness cannot go or cannot get rid of darkness in any other way other than bringing the light. Any effort you put, any amount of exertion you do, day and night you keep on cleaning the place. Darkness won't go. Very dark. I have to work on it. What did you do? Morning till evening, I'm taking the broom and trying to remove it. How will it go? Because the reality of darkness is none other than the absence of light. Unless you bring the light, there is no other way you can remove the darkness. In the same way, here the bondage is created by the imagined ignorance has created that kind of an illusory bondage that can go away only when there is a clear knowledge of the self. And what is this ahankar we are talking? Ajnan we are talking about. What is the real bondage? Ahankara adi dehantan bandhan. Ahankar se sharir tak. Ahankar also is bondage until the point of body. Bondages of egoism to the body, etc. All bondages of egoism. Ahankar adi dehantan. Adi dehanta. From ego starting from the bondage starting from ego onward up to the so-called bondage of the body. So what is he? Antakaranameteshu chakshuradishu varshmani aham iti abhimanena tishtati abhasatechasa ahankarasa vigneya. Ahankarasa vigneya. Come to know what is ahankar. What is it? Aham iti abhimanena tishtati. मैं, ये मैं हूं, इस चीज idam aham iti. In anything that is coming in contact, you come in contact with which you are identified, that very identification is called ahankar. Why that ahankar takes place? See, it is like this. The original nature of the self is of the nature of awareness, correct? Now, this awareness is, see, when I say I am aware of my thought, aware of my emotion, I am aware of my feeling, and aware I am that breathing, I'm breathing. I am aware that I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm tasting, I'm smelling, I'm touching, I'm talking, I'm walking. I'm aware of my body. Until that point, I'm aware. Not only I am aware of my, subtlemost thoughts and concepts and ideas and opinions, feelings and emotions and thoughts and memories and breathing and sensations, until the physical body. In all of them, there is the constant notion This is me, this is me, this is me, this is me, right? That's why when you disagree with somebody's opinion, you disagree with my opinion. So what? It is your opinion. I have another opinion. So it's my opinion, my suggestion, my saying you went against. So is it not even to that thing which is not physical entity? People are so caught up with that. My thought, you don't understand my emotions and feelings. Even to that emotion and feelings, we are so identified. So we are identified with our emotions and feelings and thoughts, ideas, this, that, and all the way up to the body. Now, peculiar thing is, from body it doesn't stop. My pet, my cat, my dog is moved. My son, my daughter, okay. My chair, my car, my house, my country, my community, my language, my community, my caste. You see how it goes all the way? So vast is the Ahankar. Now, all these are all possible because of what? There is a reflection of consciousness which is functioning in the form of I know. Abhasa Tejasa. Tejas, the brilliance of the Brahman, now become Abhasa. That is called Chid Abhasa. This reflection of consciousness is the one which is now permeating through all the various layers of the personality, in which I have the notion of I. This very permeating nature of this consciousness through the mind and the intellect and then the prana and then indriyas and the deha and then the world is withdrawn in the state of deep sleep, and therefore this Chidabhasa, even though present in the state of sleep, it is not permeating through the mind and senses and buddhi and the body into the world. Therefore, what happens? No Ahankar. See, when you're sleeping, you put a makeup and sleep. Maybe you do, I don't know. Who cares? At that time, I don't care. If somebody is there in that house, then because even in sleep also, I should look like an angel. But would you care? I mean, because you may put a makeup, etc., but then by the time you move around here and there, that's everything gone. Would you care about it? How my body looks when I'm sleeping? My hair is combed proper. Not mine, but yours. But when you sleep, would you care about how it is there? Why? Because that identification with the body is lost. It doesn't care. You give up everything when you go to sleep, isn't it? Give up everything. Your house is given up. Your community, your concept of your my community, my caste, my color, my this, everything is gone. Even you don't know whether you're a man or a woman, that also you don't know. Everything is gone. Why? Because the Chidabhasa not anymore permeating through any of the layers of the personality, and therefore at that point, Ahankar nahi hai. So when we are awake to this world, what happens? Ahamiti abhimanena tishtati abhasa tejasa ahankarasa vignye. So therefore, ityuktya chit pradipalana upeda antakaranam ahankara. The antakarana, the mind, intellect, memory, and all the three of them having the notion of I. That is endowed with that I, the feeling of I. The antakarana endowed with the feeling of mine, I and mine, is called ahankar. Yeah. Very interesting. Further, he explains about what happens in the deep sleep state. So, yam tavat mumukshuda trivida manda. So, this is ahankar, which is of the nature of strong identification, starting from the deepest layer of your vasanas, all the way up to the body and outside also. And this removal of this ahankar, which caused the bondage, through the knowledge is called, through knowledge, when one overcomes, that is called moksha. So, may I remove my ahankar with the help of this self-knowledge. In this way, one who strives is called a mumukshu. Many people say, Swamiji, मुझे just moksha चाहिए, आप बताओ कैसा करें? I just want moksha. Okay. So, you say, if you want moksha, then Shravan, Manan, or Nididhyasana karna chahiye. Swami, I don't have time for all those things. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana karne ke liye mujhe samay nahi hai. Moksha chahiye bas. How will you then, with the very bondage being due to absence of knowledge, unless you engage in gaining the knowledge, how will you come out of it? If you go to a doctor and say, I have stomachache, what do I do? Take medicine. Tell me something else. So one fellow went with a heavy stomachache, and then the doctor said, I think it is because of overeating. How many times do you eat? 5 times. Just cut down, no. When all the times you eat? Early morning, as soon as I get up, I eat. And then before going to work, I eat breakfast. In between breakfast and lunch, sometime I eat. After that, I have eat lunch also. After coming back home, I will eat something. And afterwards, dinner. And evening, before going to bed, I eat ice cream. You eat this many times, then what do you think of your stomach? It definitely will give you trouble. I'll give you medicine. Okay, this is the medicine you should take. So that fellow took the medicine and said, this I should eat. Again, just before the 5 times I eat. He said the 5 times eat, you stop first. You medicine also le lo, or uska, you don't stop the 5 times eating, but you take medicine. How will it work? See, our problem is we gain the knowledge, but we do not ever allow the knowledge to work because we are continuing to do the same thing which we do all the time without making any change. You want the knowledge to work. How will it work? If the knowledge has to work, you have to stop doing what you're doing. What is that to stop doing what? You do not anymore allow the ahankar to continue the same way as it does now. Jnaan bhi le lo aur ajnaan mein chalo. That's what people do. There is no connection between what you learn and what you do. I continue to do what I do, and still I want to be released. No. So therefore, there are 3 types of students. Manda, Madhyama, Uttama. Now that's the next topic. Mandadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. Based upon when exactly, how exactly they apply this knowledge. Or when or in what way they pursue the knowledge. Iyam tavat mumukshudha trivida manda madhyama pravruddha chaiti. Pravruddha uttama. So it is three types of such people are there. Mokshasya nitya sukharupatvepi samsarika vasana vasitanta antakarananam moksha icha eva durlabha. The desire to be free, even upon knowing mokshasya nitya sukha swarupatve api, nature of moksha is of the nature of pure bliss. Samsarika vasana vasitanta karananam moksha icha eva durlabha. But the person who is still finding great joy in the samsarika ananda, for him moksha icha durlabha. Desire to become free is actually very, very hard. Adhyatma Shastra Shavana Kale Jata Sa Na Karyam Adadati. Even as one listens to the highest knowledge, Adhyatma Shastra Shravana Kale Jata Sa Na Karyam Adadati. It does not really give the full benefit. If such a person, along with the knowledge that he listens, he still does not have the notion, he does not leave the notion of enjoying the worldly things due to the previous habit or vasanas. Yata purushaha shravanantara jata avivekena jata vivekena Vishayeshu samsarikeshu doshan darsha tatra vairagyam labdva vidivad sanyasya sarva karmani vicharartam gurupada sadhana ado pravartade tada adhyatma shastra shravana kale jata tatkalike eva mumukshudha manda idi nama namarha eva madhyamatvam prapnoti. While the other person, while he listens to and after listening to also, because of his application of the Viveka, and one is able to constantly see the faults in the worldly living, doshan darsha, seeing, tatra vairagyam labdva, having gained the dispassion, vidivada sanyasya sarva karmani, having given up all the actions, vicharartam, for the sake of contemplation, guru upasadanado pravartade, one who goes to the abode of the guru, tada adhyatma shastra shravana kale, while even listening to this adhyatma jnanam, jata tatkalikya eva mumukshuta, and at that point, while listening to the teacher, there is certain amount of seeking for desire for liberation takes place. That is called manda. Sorry, that is called madhyama. Sorry, manda is the other guy who doesn't leave up. This one, at least during the time of listening to the teacher, he comes to realize that how foolishly one has been holding on to the world, and so he is able to see the defect in the worldly living, and therefore he is able to gain some amount of desire for liberation, and such an individual madhyamatvam prapnoti. That very manda become madhyama now. Yata tivram vairagyam manascha upashantam samadhitsati guruscha asmin prasidati shipram ayam taratu bhavabdhim idi tada purushaha nitya sukaru swarupa mokshad anyat na kamayate tatra vilambam cha na sahate idi pravritta mumukshuhu mukhya adhikari bhutva kshipram labade phalamityah vandayiti. On the other hand, one who is again and again, because of his ability to understand very clearly the illusory nature of this world and the experiences of joy, is gained the intense vairagya, and keeping his mind, because of that very vairagya, able to keep his mind very calm, and he is going to the teacher and gaining this knowledge about the nature of the self, and also he doesn't desire anymore anything of the world at all, and also his intensity for liberation is so deep that he is not want any more delay. Vilambanam na sahate. He cannot anymore wait for the delay. Such a person is called Pravruddha Mumukshuhu. He is the man was Mukhya Adhikari. Restlessness about living in the bondage. Such a person alone is Mukhya Adhikari. In other words, comfortably living in bondage is Manda. Knowing that I have to get out of it, as one listens to the teacher, it comes to realize I have to get out of it, Madhyama. I cannot tolerate anymore. I just cannot tolerate this limitation. That is Mukhya Adhikari. So, Shravana Kale Moksha Icha Manda Mumukshita. Guru Sannidho Purna Jnana Praptyartam Prayatnam Yakkarodi Sa Madhyama. Ya Moksha Danyam Na Kamayate Sa Tivra. While listening to the teacher, there is some glimpses of desire for liberation, Manda. While when he is in the presence of the teacher, he is continuing to apply that knowledge and trying to gain maximum vairagya is Madhyama. One who cannot desire anything else in the world other than this liberation is called Uttama or Mukhya Adhikari, Tivra Moksha. So that will be taken up in the next. And then in this, in this context only, that student will come and say, my hair is burning. Release me quickly. And such a student will come to the teacher. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhavat Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.